everyone, I'm Victoria, and today I'd like to give you my June wrap-up part 1 because I did end up reading 19 books this month. I have the stats right here. 19 total books, including 13 books and 6 graphic novels. 1 was a reread and 2 I DNF/skim. I participated in 2 readathons this month. That includes the Emoji-a-thon and the Getting Graphic Readathon. I will have links down below in regards to both of those. So starting off, the first things that I read this month were the 2nd through 5th installment of the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. These are urban fantasy novels that take place in Ireland, Dublin specifically, and we follow around the main character as she tries to kind of solve her sister's murder, and then also comes to understand that Fae are real and they are vicious and after her. Obviously I can't get into too much detail because this is a series and I don't want to spoil anything, but overall I gave all of these 4 out of 5 stars except for, I believe, the 4th one, which I gave a 2.5 out of 5 and rounded up to 3 for Goodreads. This is due to some objectionable content, some questions about consent, and I just didn't love how it was handled, and I really wish that the author had changed what she said a little bit. So unfortunately I couldn't give this one 4 stars, but overall I really enjoyed this series and would highly recommend it. So these 4 books cover different challenges that were occurring during the Emoji-a-thon. The first one, Blood Fever, covers the challenge of reading a book from a country different than your own that takes place in a country that is not yours. So I'm from the US and this takes place in Ireland, so challenge checked off. Next one was Fae Fever, and that was a freebie book, any book. So super easy challenge, you just had to read a book, and that was mine. Then for Dream Fever, which is number 4 in the series, I chose the Like Candy or Guilty Pleasure challenge. Again, these are urban fantasy and they're kind of fun, though I don't feel you should ever be guilty or feel guilty about what you read. Read what you want to read and don't worry about it. And then finally, Shadow Fever, the last in the series, covers the challenge of a book I'm anticipating. I was anticipating it because it was the last in the series and I want to know how everything turned out. The next thing that I read was The Sword Edge Blonde by Alex Bledsoe. So this was to fulfill the challenge of reading a book that had absolutely no hype behind it. So I had never heard of this book or this author before. It is supposed to be kind of a crime noir mystery mixed with some high fantasy. Oh boy, nope, this was not great. I did not enjoy this one. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. In fact, I actually did a boozy book rant about this particular book, so I will leave a link somewhere, and if you want to go check it out, it's fun. You get to hear me rant. Then I read A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, and this is the first in the Lady Trent series. This is kind of like almost alternative history, but not quite. It takes place in a fantasy world very much like our Victorian world, where it has rigid social structures, but there are dragons. And this book fulfilled the Emoji-a-thon challenge of reading a book with an animal on the cover, and it happened to be a dragon. Sure, it's an imaginary animal, but you know what? It's counting, so there. I actually enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 and rounding up to 4 for Goodreads. I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but once I got into it and understood the world and the development, then I really did enjoy it, and I think I am going to be continuing on with the series. Then I read Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is a modern retelling of the Cinderella story with a little bit of geek culture thrown in. This fulfilled the challenge of reading a book in 24 hours. I was really surprised that I did this. It was almost a one-sitting read for me. I started like Friday night, I think, and then ended up reading just all Saturday morning and was able to finish it in less than 24 hours. And that is because it's so much fun. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I did not go into this expecting to have nearly as much fun as I did. I was expecting something light and fluffy, and there is that, but there is some more depth to it. We talk about different geek culture and what does it mean to be a true fan, and there are mentions of diversity and whitewashing in Hollywood, and so I really enjoyed this. I thought it was cute and fun and would definitely recommend it. Moving on, I read a book by Ibi Zoboi, American Street, and this was to fulfill the challenge of reading a book about a marginalized group. So this tells the story of Fabienne, who is an immigrant from Haiti, and she comes to America with her mother. Unfortunately, her mother is denied access and is detained in New Jersey, and it's the story of her trying to kind of fit into Detroit culture and also try to get her mother released from detention center. I had such mixed feelings on this. The first half of the book I absolutely adored. I have this really weirdly specific pet peeve about the way that Vodou or voodoo is portrayed in pop culture. There's maybe one other religion, Wicca, which is portrayed so poorly in pop culture and is just so misrepresented and maligned, and I can't stand it. But this book presents it as an actual living, breathing, spiritual belief system that the main character does practice, and I love that fact. So I definitely would recommend reading this to kind of get an idea of what that's about. The other thing that I loved about this book, I love it when the gods, or in this case Loa, intervene in humans' lives. So we actually get to see a representation of the Loa, Papa Legba, in this, and it's so wonderful to see kind of how he interacts and how Fabienne also reacts to this. I love that. I also love getting to see the immigrant's perspective on coming to this country. This is an Own Voices author, and she is Haitian, and so it's great to see kind of her and Fabienne's viewpoint of America and Detroit specifically, and seeing how she deals with some different things. There's a hilarious scene with a turkey during Thanksgiving and kind of the meeting of two different cultures and different takes on things, and that was great. Unfortunately, the end of the book I had some issues with. I really thought that there was a huge amount of emotional manipulation on the author's part. A tragedy occurs, but it doesn't come out organically. There's so many different coincidences and things had to happen for this tragedy to occur, and I just, like I said, I felt like I was being emotionally manipulated. I didn't cry. I'm a big crier at books, honestly, and I just was kind of like, wait, what? Why? No. So again, like I said, it felt like the author just wanted to make you have all the feels, and I didn't love that. But again, overall, I did enjoy the book. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and I would recommend it because I think that there is a lot of important stuff in here. Next up, I read His Bloody Project by Gray McRae Burnett. This is a historical thriller, and I read this to fulfill the challenge, the Emoji-a-thon challenge of reading a thriller or a horror book. Unfortunately, this, whoo boy, was not great. I ended up giving it a 2 out of 5 stars, and this is one of the books that I DNF'd around like 40% of the way in. I just couldn't take it anymore. It was so boring. This book was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, and honestly, I'm not sure why. The writing, I'll grant you, is quite lovely. It definitely is evocative of 19th century style, but the writing alone cannot save this book. It is so boring. It is so boring, so boring. It is literally listed on the front cover as a historical thriller. There's nothing thrilling. There's nothing thrilling. Guess what? He did it. He did it. Our main character, he killed 3 people, including a small boy, a teenage girl, and an adult man. And he admits it within the first couple pages. So there is no mystery, there is no suspense, no thrill. Did he do it? Didn't he do it? Oh my goodness, is he really crazy and insane, or is he brilliant? Who knows? No, he did it. He did it, and quite frankly, there's no excuse for that. The only mystery is why he did it. And quite frankly, like I said, it doesn't matter. He still killed these people. It was never portrayed as an accident by him. He fully admits to killing them. And it just moved so slowly, glacially slowly, that I could not get into this. And so, like I said, I DNF'd it and skimmed the rest of it, and 2 out of 5 stars. So that's it for my first part. Check out my second part to see the rest of what I read in June, including what I read for the Getting Graphic Readathon. Hope you check it out. Thank you for watching this part. Let me know if you read any of these books this month. I'd love to hear what you thought of them. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye!